Bienvenidos. Welcome to another episode of my Stairwell Teatro. Several weeks ago, I was participating in a webinar sponsored by the California Change Lawyers. Now, if you don't know this organization, please be sure to check out my blog and read about them. I'll provide a link to their website. They are doing wonderful work helping to diversify the legal profession, and they are supporting law students with scholarships and all sorts of training programs, such as the webinar I attended, which was open to any lawyer, or for that matter, anyone. This webinar was about microaggressions. And as the presenter was speaking about all the different ways in which microaggressions show up in the workplace, one of the other participants noted in the comments that she has experienced microaggressions as a result of her name. So I wrote a comment and asked if she would be willing to speak with me, and that's how I came to meet Shadeequa Smith. And so now you have an opportunity to hear her own story, and this interview is included here with her explicit permission.
Okay, so my name is Shadeequa, and it means most precious one. I was named by my father, who was Muslim at the time. He had converted to Islam, and he saw Shadeequa in the Quran, and he looked it up to find out what it meant, and he thought it would be suitable for his daughter. And people sometimes may be confused. If not for my last name, then they would think that if they didn't see me, they would probably think that I was from a different country. But yes, so that's where my name came from. I did not like my name for a good portion of my life, especially as a kid, because even though it's spelled phonetically and it sounds exactly the way it looks, there was always some difficulty with people trying to either overdo it in pronunciation, like thinking it couldn't possibly sound the way it looks, so they try to say something extra, or just flat out mispronouncing it because they don't want to pronounce it the way it should be. And also just writing it. You know, my name has 9 letters, and learning to write it and having to write it. One of my teachers, when I was in first grade, she just decided that she was not going to call me Shadeequa. She was going to call me V, which is my nickname. And so everything, my report card, everything said V Smith. And at the time, because I didn't like my name, I didn't think anything of it. It's like, oh, yes, now finally I can just go by D all the time. But now as an adult, I think about how it wasn't really her place to do that, to just decide that she was going to call me what she wanted to call me. But yeah, so most people who I grew up with in the Northeast have names like mine. So it wasn't like my name was so different from everybody else's. I actually have a friend who is one of my best friends, and her name is Shadeequa as well. So it wasn't the stigma of being the only person with a name like mine that was problematic. It was just, there were people who, for kids like us who had names like that, there were people who decided that those names were either too ethnic or ghetto, or where did these names come from, and why are you running around in America with a name like that? And so that was probably a part of why I just never quite wanted to embrace my name. I have suffered from name discrimination because there is some idea, I guess, in some people's minds what a Shadeequa is like. And so when they see Shadeequa, they may not want to meet Shadeequa. And so I did a social experiment when I was looking for work, and I sent out resumes, identical resumes, one labeled Shadeequa Smith and one labeled D Smith. And I always got calls back on D Smith and never back on Shadeequa Smith, even though the resumes were identical. So that was problematic.
Shadeequa's experiences are not unique. Social science researchers have been studying this type of discrimination for some time, and my blog includes some information you may want to read about with respect to this name whitening that some candidates find themselves forced to do in order to get their foot in the door when applying for jobs. If you enjoyed watching this episode and others of my Stairwell Teatro, please share them with your friends and your family. And I'd love to hear any name stories you would like to provide me. You can reach me via my website, irmaherrera.com. Thank you so much for watching.